What's up YouTube, Never Lucky Pulse here today with my recap of my regionals at Munich. Match 1 was against Dracoslayers. I won the dice roll, but unfortunately bricked super hard. I had to pass turn. My starting hand was awful. I had one Ash, which I activated on his normal summon. Plus I had Draco Bag, Lava Golem, the Kashtira Birth, plus the Gen X ally Birdman. So I couldn't do anything. And you know, one hand trap isn't gonna cut it against 6 cards from your opponent, so I knew the game was over. I was chilling and seeing if he has some key cards in his hand or in his deck in general. And yes, he was playing Bestials. That was one information I got from the whole game. One. So at least some positive thing. I knew the Bestials would be dead against me since I don't have any targets in my graveyard. With Kashtiras, they don't have any lights or darks, only the extra deck monsters, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, he had okayed me easily in the first game, and I was praying for game 2 because I have good side deck against his deck. I have anti-spell, I have dimension barrier, which are auto wins against his deck, so I was praying for the good draws in game 2. Game 2 was much better. I opened up anti-spell fragrance, the special summoned Kashtira Unicorn, searched a birth, activated Birdman to put my Unicorn back to my hand and special summon Birdman. He's a level 3 tuner. Activated Birth to normal summon my Unicorn, went into Baron de Fleur, set my anti-spell and was praying that my opponent doesn't have double removal, and he surely didn't have it. And I knew I would win this match because you can't set the pendulum scales, so he can't play any cards. The only live cards in his hand are the Bestials, and the rest is dead because you can't set the scales, you can't activate any pendulum effects, means your entire deck is locked. And my only concern was the Druid's Worm, in case he has like Magma Hood and Druid's Worm in his starting hand, that would be an issue. But he had only one Bestial, and I was waiting patiently for the one Bestial for the Magma Hood. He activated the effect of Magma Hood, and I negated with Baron de Fleur because it was his only out to get Druid's Worm to clean my board. And he tried to activate Tactics, but I said to him, bro, I have the anti-spell, you have to set it. And yeah, I popped the Tactics and normal summon the statue to bring more pain, special summon Unicorn because he's wind. And yeah, from this point my opponent scooped right away, he knew it was over. Game 3 he went first. He bricked unfortunately because of too many Bestials and other stuff. He special summoned Fenrir, got himself another Fenrir, and had double Judgment as set cards in the end of his turn. I top deck Lightning Storm, activated the Lightning Storm, he activated the first Judgment. I special summoned Pancratops. Okay, I could go into the battle phase, but I wanted to check the back row first, so I activated the effect to destroy the back row. He didn't change the Solomon Judgment, obviously, because it would be stupid, right? The card would be destroyed anyway. So yeah, I special summoned Fenrir and also my Zenith of Thunder, the extender, and in the battle phase I could go for game because he had only 4000 life points. Match 2 was against Flunder. My worst matchup, man. It's unreal. Why the second match against Flunder already? Yeah, because I have Shifter, I have Lava Golem, and those cards are useless, including the Wind Barrier statue, which is insanely bad against Flunder. So I had opened up with with the Water Enchantress, searched Writer from Azir, followed up with the Pot of Prosperity. And my opponent gave away a small intel. He was like, ooh, Shifter, damn, blah blah blah. And was like, why is he making a big show out of it? Maybe he's playing Flunder or some other deck which doesn't give a shit about the Shifter. So I was reluctant with my Wind Barrier statue and decided to go for only Unicorn and my Griffin as the end board, not giving the full commitment to the field. So I activated the Adventure, the search for the Griffin. I had to banish the discard, unfortunately. It was a second copy of I don't know what, but it wasn't a big deal. Special summon Griffin and set one card and pass turn. So since I didn't have any information about this deck, I didn't know what to go for. And of course he had Flunder and the Dark Ruler no more. Dark Ruler means basically I'm doomed. I can't do anything. My only negate is negated. So he has a free way to wipe my entire field. He activated map. You can't see it on the video, sorry guys, the footage isn't too great, the angle was not perfect, so I couldn't fit the entire field to film, but he has the map. He banished Eagle, normal summons 3 banishes 1 card, and the Eagle returns to his hand. He normal summons Eagle, gets him the Empen, and blah blah blah, you know the combo. So yeah, my only hope was the Book of Moon, my set card. In case he goes to the battle, I can flip down his Empen and maybe survive in the next turn. But yeah, other than that, it looked a bit rough since my deck lacks Omni Negation and you need the negations against Flunder, otherwise you lose. He normal summoned the statue, the wind statue, which is a bit weird, but I guess he didn't know that I'm playing a lot of wind monsters, so he just normal summoned it. I went to the battle phase, I flipped his Empen face down, and yeah, that was basically it for his turn. He set his trap and passed turn. So he had 2 interruptions, the map plus the trap. Means I have to waste all my negates, my Baron de Fleur. I normal summoned the Janix ally to go into the synchro, but I have made a big mistake in this round. I should have activated the Draco bag to bounce the field spell so he doesn't trigger. But yeah, so he activated the field spell. I had to chain the Griffin to negate it. Went to the Baron de Fleur, my synchro negate, and yeah, that's basically it. I don't have any negates left. 1 negate against Flunder isn't gonna cut it since he has also the trap set. And with Dracoback I bounced his Empen, which was a bit weird, I guess. I should have bounced the statue or his set card, I don't know what I was thinking, but I went for maximum damage. I had 7,500 attack points on the field and went for it. He had 500 life points left, but I guess I could have played it better. If I bounce the map, I don't have to waste my Griffin negate, so I will end up with more monsters. Okay, he will force 1 negate with the trap, but I still couldn't kill him since I'm not having 8,000 attack points on the field. 7.5k was the max. And 1 negation on the field. Even with the second negation it wouldn't be enough because he has the trap, the field spell and the second normal summon. So I have to waste at least 3 negates to stop his turn, and that's not gonna happen with my deck. He took with Duality the continuous spell card to tribute away my monsters. I forgot it's not once per turn. I wanted to wait with my Baron de Fleur negate on his normal summon, but he could chain block it and I completely forgot it because he had some monsters in the banished zone. And I wanted to negate and destroy his first normal summon. That was a bit dumb. Yeah, happens. You make sometimes mistakes, but no matter how I would play it, I wouldn't have been able to stop him because I need 3 negates, like I said, and I had only 2 at max. So he couldn't wipe my field again. So yeah, bad matchup, man. I can't say it enough. Don't have the negations. If you don't open with Ash and Imperm, it's basically over against Flunder. Since Fenrir and Unicorn do shit against Flunder, they don't care about the extra deck, they don't care if you banish them face down because the effects resolve and they summon additional birds to the field. And more birds equals more pain, but you guys know it, right? Everybody loves Flunder. It is what it is. You have to take the L sometimes, and in this case I took it and hoped for a better game 2 with my side deck and maybe more negates on the field, right? Game 2 I went first. My starting hand was very good. I special summoned Fenrir, activated the effect to search for Unicorn. I also activated Rite of Ermesir to get my Brave Tongue engine rolling. Got myself the Fateful Adventure. Plus activated the Birth to normal summon Unicorn to get me the Draco back because you get the equip spell if a monster is normal or special summon to the field. Activated the effect of Fateful Adventure to search for 1 monster, search for Griffin, you discard the Draco back activates in the graveyard to equip back to the token. And I also activated the Pot of Prosperity to go for the dig. And I saw the Ash and took it right away because it's the only out against Flunder, which is not on the field. I mean, in case he has double evenly matched, it sucks if I took the Imperm, so I took the Ash. And I didn't summon the Griffin to the field against Dark Ruler no more. That was my strategy. I went for my Sangria because he will special summon 1 Kashtira monster in the standby phase to the field, so I will have anyway my Fenrir on the field. And in case he activates Dark Ruler no more, I can after resolution special summon the Griffin in the main phase, so I still have the negate on the field. And that what happened. As you can see, he activated Duality and revealed the Dark Ruler no more. I was like, yeah, that must be nice, bro. He took the Dark Ruler, activated him right away, and I was a bit surprised why he activated the Dark Ruler no more. But yeah, maybe he didn't know about the Griffin effect. I let the activation through, and after resolution, I activated the Griffin effect to special summon into the field. So I had the negate still left, plus he didn't have too many resources left. I mean, 4 cards left means the chances of him having extenders are very low, and 1 Griffin would be enough maybe to stop his entire turn. I activated the Griffin effect on the map, and I had also the Ash in hand, so his normal summon was negated as well, and he said 2 and passed turn. That was the dream start for me, man. Finally stopping Flunder. Took me a lot of resources, but in the end it worked out. And from this point I could win the game easily since he wasted a lot of resources. I still had my Griffin search and special summon the Griffin, and from this point the game was over for him. Basically I had too much advantage. He had nothing, only 1 bird and 2 set cards, means he has no chance of winning this game. And yeah, hoped for a good game 3 as well. My draws in game 2 were quite nice. I summoned Dracoslayer, as you see, and destroyed another set card of him. It was the Twin Twister, but it didn't matter. Game 3 he went first. His opening hand was quite decent. He had the map as a first opener to banish the Empen, not the Empen but the Eagle, to chain block his Rubina. Means I can't Ash it. I had Ash in my starting hand, but with the chain block I couldn't activate Ash. No, Rubina was successfully summoned and Eagle returned to hand. But on his second summon, the Eagle, I could activate Ash. He had no response. That was the dream scenario. I could stop his turn with only 1 Ash. That's nuts, man. Against Flunder, you pray all the time for the 1 interruption which ends the entire turn, and it happened. In my turn, I activated first Evenly Matched to bait out his back row. It was Solemn Judgment, so he lost half of his life points, but I lost my battle phase. For me it was not a problem because I had a strong follow-up. I had the special summon Unicorn, search for the birth, and the Rite of Ermazir for the full adventure token package. Means I have at least 1 negate on the field, and his hand was exhausted. I mean, he had only a top deck for a normal summon, or if he has the normal summon, he has no follow-up. Means if he normal summons and I can negate it with Griffin, his turn ends again because he didn't use the map in my turn. Means he has no real options. So I was very confident with the 1 Griffin, but who would have guessed he had the Dark Ruler no more once again in his hand. And yeah, basically that was the killing blow for me. My only out was negated, the Griffin, and yeah, as you can see, he normal summoned the Eagle and could go for the full combo line. I couldn't do anything and was watching while my field was disappearing, right? But it happens, man. If your opponent draws the outs here, yeah, you can't do anything against it. That's the life of a card game, right? You can play as good as you want. If your opponent draws the outs, you can't do anything. Same goes for me. I mean, if I draw the nuts, my opponent can't do anything also. So yeah, that's how card game works, guys. Sometimes you lose and sometimes the others are winning, right? But yeah, also we were in time. I mean, the first game took us a lot of time, like 20 plus minutes. In my turn, I summoned the Lava Golem to remove his Empen, but I had no follow-up. Means, yeah, I'm basically doomed. I lost in time in this game. But while watching the recording, I realized I had more life points because he had the Lava Golem 2 rounds on his side. Means he loses 2000 life points plus 4000 life points for the Solemn Judgment. Means he has only 2k left, and I was left with 2200 life points in the end when time was called. So big blow from my side. I completely forgot the Lava Golem in the last round. I counted it for the first round, but the second round, the last round when time was called, I completely forgot to count the 1000 life points for the Lava Golem, and therefore lost the game and the match. Oh, such a dumb move, man. Always write the life points down, guys. A little advice from me. I'm the proof now. Normally I would have won the game, but due to my stupidity, I lost, not counting the life points. You will see it. I wanted to go into the Link monster, the Donner, to shoot one of his monsters, but I forgot that Link monsters are negated because they are in attack position due to Empen and pass turn. And you see now he could bounce some of my cards with Riser and went into the battle phase, but had not enough damage to win the game officially. But yeah, due to my mistake, not counting the 1k life points, he still won the game. Next time I will count the life points, I swear, guys. Match 3 was against Kashtira-Mutants, against It's Phil Yu-Gi-Oh!, a Yugi-tuber, a German Yugi-tuber. So guys, if you're interested in German Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, check out this channel, he's a very cool dude. I won the dice roll in this match and opened up godly. I had everything, the Brave Token engine, my Wind Lock, plus the Omni Negate. So yeah, it was very tough for my opponent. No matter which deck he plays, even Flunder will sweat against this board. I mean, yeah, the Wind Barrier statue don't stand too much, but the Omni Negate is quite strong, plus all the follow-up, the resources in my hand still. I have the Birth, I have the Water Enchantress in hand, I have the Draco bag. So yeah, a very tough board to break. As you see, I went into the Raid Raptor. The Raid Raptor got myself the Wind statue, and with Birth I can special summon the Unicorn back to my field. So very good board. Against a meta deck, it's an instant win. I mean, if I play against the elements, it's a win. He can't do anything. If he tries to attack or activate any effects, I will banish the Kit Kalos. I can Omni negate the field spell. He can't special summon unless he has a wind monster. So it was very tough. He scooped right away in the first game. In the second game, he wasn't too lucky with his draws. I mean, he had one normal summon, but I had the Imperm to negate the effect on his normal summon. I didn't know the card effects, to be honest. I asked him what he was doing, but he said it will search a trap, and searching for a trap is never a good idea, so I negated it with Imperm. And yeah, from this point he couldn't do that much. It was the killing blow for his turn. He tributed him away as a cost and banished the Unicorn, revived Unicorn back with the Birth, and searched for another Birth and passed turn. So that was a very weak board with only one set back row. And my turn, I could easily destroy his entire field. I mean, activated evenly matched, so he had to banish two of his cards. And yeah, Prosperity as a follow-up means I will definitely win this game. I mean, look what I revealed, the Brave Token engine, the Ash, I mean, I had everything. So very lucky draws for me and unlucky for my opponent. He didn't draw that good. The one hand trap could stop his entire turn. Unlucky and lucky for me. I could bounce his Fenrir with my Draco back. Also summon the Wind statue to the field, since I discard it's Fenrir and the other one is Birth. Means he has no outs against the Wind Barrier statue. Only the Kashtira Birth as an activation, but I will negate it with Griffin anyway, so he can't normal summon the Fenrir or special summon him. Only a top deck can save him, but it was not the case. He activated the Birth, I instantly activated Griffin to destroy the Birth, and yeah, the game was over. He couldn't special summon Fenrir due to the statue, and yeah, not lucky for me, man, but it was cool to see some mirror matches, not mirror matches, but also Kashtira decks running around. That was a nice feeling, not only seeing Ishizu and Spright, but also some other decks. That was very cool. Shout out to every Kashtira player. Match 4 was against Spright, a member from the team Heldenschmiede. Shout out to the team, cool dudes. I play a lot of duels against them at big tournaments. It's insane, I get paired against them so often. It's unreal. But he won the dice roll, opened up with Pot of Prosperity for 6. Revealed Shifter in the main deck, and I was like, dude, really? In Spright? Shifter? Okay, it's cool against the elements, but you hurt yourself quite heavy. You can't play your Silent Angler, you can't play your Elf, you can't play Totally Awesome, so it's tough. And he said only one in past turn. I was like, okay, cool. Special summon Unicorn, activate the effect to search. He activated Ash. I accepted it, that was fine for me. I mean, I had the Water Enchantress. I tried to bait with Unicorn and it worked out. Activated the Water Enchantress to search for my Brave Token engine.
activated the Pot of Prosperity.
Despite having the chance to OTK him, I had over 8000 attack points, but the back row made me a bit nervous and I didn't want to take the risk to maybe run into some nasty traps, I don't know. So who knows what he's playing. I mean, if he's main decking Shifter, it could be anything. And the Imperm would most likely be in the hand, therefore I decided to go with the safe way. Activated the Prosperity, got myself the Extender, bounced the set card, aka the Imperm, back to his hand. Summoned all my monsters and went into the battle phase. It was like 6k damage or 6.7, I don't know. It was huge. I mean, I had like 5 monsters with over 2000 attack points. It's a lot of damage. Makes his starter very weak. I mean, if he activates the starter, he's down to like 300, 400, 200 life points, I don't know. So that was a big issue for him. He could activate only one starter. I went for the Raid Raptor, summoned the Wind Barrier statue, but after some seconds my opponent said he wanted to activate Imperm on my Raid Raptor. I was like, yeah, okay, you can do it. I mean, if it would be in YCS or some other major tournament, I wouldn't allow him to do so because it's a quote-unquote little cheat. If he saw the barrier statue, he knew he was doomed. The Griffin bait, he was now free to play. He summoned this jet, attacked over my statue, activated starter, which would be negated by my Griffin, by the way, but I don't have him anymore. So he could summon the blue. Blue got him the full combo, but I had still all my effects from the Unicorn and from the Ogre. Ogre mills 5 cards and I can decide to banish one. I banished the Spright Red, the one-off monster negate, very important banish. And I extra decked the monster. He was down on like 4 free extra deck cards that time, so that was the killing blow already. But yeah, the duel didn't end yet.
It was just the beginning, guys, no shit. We still have like 15 minutes to play in the first game. It was insane. He searched for Smasher. Smasher is the best option here because the trap is too slow and Smasher is a huge out against many problematic cards. Also spells and traps, therefore Smasher a good choice. He went into the Gigantics and Gigantic special summons the swap to the field and dumps another swap to the grave, means he has access to Totally Awesome and his Elf, the basic combo line. But even with the Totally Awesome and Elf on the field, I mean, I have a lot of huge monsters which can easier take over weak monsters and therefore win me the game. But yeah, he still tried to survive. Props to him, not giving up this duel despite being way behind me in terms of card advantage and life points. I gave him the lava golem in my main phase and he had only 900 life points left, so I just could end the duel by passing the turn and letting him pay the 1000 life points. But I was too greedy, I wanted to attack for game. And he had double Bestial to stop my battle phase, and yeah, I was a bit shocked, not thinking about the Bestials. I was on an autopilot to just going into the battle and ending this duel as quickly as possible, since it was a bit tiring. I mean, like 20 minutes into one duel is a bit annoying, to be honest, therefore I wanted a quick victory here. It was a mistake on my part, so I had to readjust my field. I lost a couple of monsters, but still had most of my key cards in play, the Draco bag, the Fateful Adventure, the Kashtira Birth, etc. So plus the Griffin, Omni Negate, everything was fine at the moment, despite me failing again. So it was my second chance to win the game and I failed. I went into Big Eye, stole his Magma Hood, and yeah, it passed my turn. He searched with Magma Hood his Druid Swarm because he activated the effect, obviously. And yeah, I had one target also in my grave. It was, I'm not sure, it was the Raid Raptor. Yeah, the Raid Raptor is a target. He banished the Raid Raptor and summoned the Druid Swarm. I obviously negated it with my Griffin, so he wouldn't crash into one of my monsters and destroy my Griffin anyway, so I had to do it.
He special summoned the Swap Frog by discarding the Nimble Angler, means he has full combo again by special summoning 2 Nimble Beavers to the field. play. I mean, he could break my board now with the special summon of blue. Blue gets him Jet, Jet gets him the Gamma Burst, which is unexpected. Not every Spright player is playing the Gamma Burst, but he decided to do so, and it worked out in this duel. He went to the battle phase, activated the Gamma Burst, and could clean my entire board, which was shocking to me. I was like, dude, no way I'm losing this. He was very low on life, like 900 life points. I had still like 7k, 6k, I don't know. I had a lead still, but he cleaned my board. I had only Fateful Adventure plus the Kashtira buff, the Monster Reborn. He had to activate the Smasher to stop my Kashtira buff, otherwise I would run over his monster and basically win the game. Managed to destroy my spell card, but I had the Rider from Mazir, special summoning the token, going into the battle phase and attacking over the Djinn Buster. Since I had the Griffin in my hand, I drew into Griffin, which was a bad draw, but anyway, I had to... His extra deck was very, very low. He had only 4 extra deck cards. You will see it now in the video. He had one Gigantic, one Djinn Buster, and I guess one more Elf, I'm not sure. But nothing really to stop my...
Game 2 he went first, he normal summoned the Bieber, I chained Shifter, the super out against his deck, but still Spright can play under Shifter. It's tough, but you are able to establish at least some negates, and in his case he could make the best out of it. He had 4 interruptions in total, despite being under Shifter, which is insane for Spright. T-Elements would quit right away. I mean, they would pass turn and that's it. But with Spright, you have still the option to do at least some stuff. That's the main reason why he's also main decking Shifter, because it doesn't hurt him that much if his bonus is much bigger against the T-Element matchup. So his end board was Djinn Buster, Carrot, Red plus the Trap, means 4 interruptions in total, despite being under Shifter. It's crazy, man, how strong Spright is. But I had the perfect out, even against his end board. He, by the way, activated again the Pot of Prosperity, this time only for free. He wanted to keep some extra deck monsters, not running out of resources like in the last game. Pass turn after setting 2. And I had Imperm plus evenly matched, means I can wipe the entire field. I negated Carrot, activated evenly matched to wipe the rest from the field. And yeah, my follow-up wasn't too strong. I had only 1 Fenrir as a summon and that's it. I used a lot of resources to clean his board. No full combo, sadly. Special summon Fenrir, activated the effect, he had to activate Djinn Buster. It was necessary and I couldn't go into the battle phase, I had to bait his negate, therefore everything was fine from my side. In the end phase he activated Magma Hood, targeting my Dimension Shifter in the graveyard to special summon Magma Hood, activating the effect, getting Druiswim in the end phase. And yeah, I had to pass turn, no combo. In his turn he normal summoned Ash to go into Dark Charmer. And now he had the target for Druiswim, banishing his own Magma Hood. And yeah, from there on I knew the game was over. He linked further away for Sprint, dumps him the Nimble Angler and special summons the Bieber to the field. The Druiswim gets rid of my Fenrir and yeah, he has a clean way to OTK me, or not to OTK me, but to make a lot of damage, establish his own negates, etc. So I knew the game was over, my hand was pretty weak and I had only 1 card left, I guess, and yeah, it scooped right away. In game 3 I had only 1 minute left, so we had basically the draw safe. I don't have the extra deck monster which burns for 800 life points. You can special summon it with the Raid Raptor. Maybe I will add it in my deck, who knows, but yeah, for this duel I couldn't do anything unfortunately, so we agreed on a draw. Props to my opponent, was a cool dude and a cool match. Match 5 was against Florwanderies, once again my weakest matchup, and a member of the team Heldenschmiede, so back to back against the same teammates, this time against Flunder. I won the dice roll, but my starting hand was quite weak. I had no access to my Brave Token engine, means I don't have the Omni Negate against the normal summons of the Florwanderies. So my only option was to go for the Shangria, and Shangria gives me in his standby phase the Fenrir to the field to have at least quote unquote 1 interruption plus 1 back row and yeah, pass turn. In his turn he couldn't do that much. I was surprised. His top deck wasn't helpful and his starting hand was crappy as well. I mean, he set only one card and passed turn. I was like, okay, that's a bit weird, but I take it. Finally, some luck against the Floowandereeze. Floowandereeze is yeah, a bit iffy. You can brick with his deck quite easily, but if it goes off very hard. But in my case, luckily for me, my opponent bricked and I could go for game. He couldn't do that much. As you see, I activated the Birth. With Birth, I will get additional monsters to the field, and I had a lot of attack points. Even without having the 4th monster on the field, I have a double 2.5k plus one additional 2 point whatever k. Went into the battle phase, and in the main phase 2 I overlapped for the Red Eyes Flare Dragon, which burns for 500 life points each time my opponent activates a card or effect. So he was on the clock and he scooped right away. I mean, there wasn't much he can do. Game 3 he went first and activated Duality, added the Prosperity to his hand. I had Ash plus Imperm, the Dream Start, in my starting hand. So I activated Ash on the Prosperity because I would waste it anyways on his target to choose. So why not activating Ash now? Maybe he bricked now on his normal summon the Imperm, and perfectly, he had no follow up, set 2 and pass turn. In my turn I special summoned Fenrir, tried to activate this effect. My opponent was reading the card. I was explaining him that it's a trigger effect only if a monster effect resolves. But he activated the Feather Storm, so I can't activate monster effects in this turn. So I activated Prosperity for 6, looked at my mills and added the Rite of Ramesir, obviously the best card to grab now. He activated Rivalry of the Warlords, which was a bit surprising, but I went for the battle and passed turn since I couldn't activate Rite of Ramesir due to the Rivalry of the Warlords. He normal summoned one of his birds, and the train got rolling, sadly for me, but it is what it is. I have to accept it. I activated the Fenrir effect to banish the trap card because he activated the monster effect and it resolves, so in a new chain link I can banish one card face down. So I choose the trap card obviously to have my Rite of Ramesir alive. He activated the Traptrix Trap Hole or whatever, Traptrix Night, I don't know, I forgot the name, guys, but you know it gets you a certain trap if you banish the same copy from your deck. Yeah, so I was locked out of monster effects again, but I had the Rite of Ramesir plus the Fateful Adventure to search my targets and went for the battle phase to make some damage at least and pass turn. In his turn he normal summoned the Rubina and chaining to the Eaglin, but as chaining 3 the Griffin. So I had Griffin on the field. And having one negate against Flunder is a good feeling, but he had the extender. As you see, he activated the quick spell. I negated it right away, not allowing him to get the cards he needed. So he was only limited to his normal summons and getting the pluses from the normal summons only. It was fine for me. I mean, it was the best case. I stopped at least the quick spell, so he had only to search for the 3 normal summon, banishes 1 water enchantment from my graveyard, and gets the Eaglin to the field. Eaglin gets the Empen, and Empen gets him a spell or a trap. So at least not the full mega combo, but yeah, it sucks nevertheless for me, but there's still hope. I have Fenrir on the field, the token and Fateful Adventure. And my opponent made a big mistake. He attacked into the token, but the token can't be destroyed by battle once per turn. So I told him that, and yeah, I lost only life points, but my Fenrir was still on the field, which was good for me. So that allowed me to win the game in my next round. I had Griffin in hand, Kashtira Unicorn. The Griffin special summoned was a negate against his normal summon from map, and my Unicorn was tributed for Fenrir and my token. so I could get my Kashtira Birth to hand, and with Kashtira Birth I can special summon Fenrir back to the field, means I can go for a lot of damage plus one XYZ monster or whatever, and he was very low on life points, so I could win the game from this point on. You will see it now. I tributed away my token and my Fenrir. I know it's painful, but it was necessary, losing the Draco back, the token, the Fenrir, but it was the right move. I special summoned Fenrir back and went for game. Match 6 was against Key Elements, Ishizu, finally the deck I wanted to face. I lost the dice roll, but I had Shifter in my starting hand, must be nice, right? I activated him right away, so he couldn't do that much, only special summoning the Kalbeck, plus normal summoning the Rhinoheart and going for Babuska pass. That's the only option he had, but I had Book of Moon to book Babuska face down. And yeah, special summon Unicorn gets me the birth. Plus the extender, the 3k life points payment, and you get full combo. I went into the Raid Raptor, the Windlock, plus special summon Fenrir back to my field, and went for battle. In the battle phase I can banish one of his extra deck monsters, obviously banishing Kid Kalos, so he's crippled, he can't go into his boss monster. And yeah, we were asking also the judge about the Babuska effect, if he activates if he's flipped face up, but it's not the case. The attack goes through and destroys Babuska, so the monsters don't go in defense position. That was a little question to the judge. And his turn, he couldn't do all too much. He had to go into the battle phase to get rid of my statue with the normal summon Agido. Special summoned the Sharin to the field by discarding one of his cards. And yeah, from this point there wasn't much he could do, because I once again banished another extra deck monster. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was a very important one, so I know all the good targets. Therefore he had not too many options left. He was thinking a long time about his next move. He went into Garura to get some draws. A good out would be a Bestial draw, maybe Magma Hood or so, but it wasn't the case here. He linked further away for the Dark Charmer to get one draw from Garura and to go into his Link 2 monster. It was the Spright Sprint, so with Sprint he gets one more fusion to the field, and one of his targets was the Dracoslayer, one of his quote-unquote boss monsters left in the extra deck. He negated my Raid Raptor and passed turn, since he used already his battle phase. In my turn I special summoned Pankratops and activated the effect to destroy the Dracoslayer. So he was out of the picture, and yeah, my opponent made a little mistake. He chained Agido to shuffle 3 cards back to the deck, but he forgot to shuffle my Unicorn back to the deck, so I could special summon him, as you see now. That was a big blow for him. He completely forgot it, and that won me the game here, because I could continue banishing his extra deck monsters, and without this extra deck he can't do that much against me. So yeah, as you see, I was in control of the game. He had only 2 cards in hand and 1 Pearl Rhino on the field, which is super strong by itself, but without any support it's useless. He set 1 card and passed turn. This set card was super poorly. He activated it to fuse away my Griffin and my Unicorn. I was very surprised, but I could still summon Unicorn back to my field. Went into the battle phase. He chained Huffness, but his mills failed and he scooped the game. A very long game 1. Game 2 he went first and had full combo. I had only 1 Ash, means I can't stop him. He goes infinite plus. He gets everything, all fusions, the mills and so on. So I was basically at game 3 in my head. I knew I couldn't win this game. When I saw all his mills, all the names in the graveyard, I knew I'm doomed. But it is what it is. That's just the element things, guys. If they mill you 3 names, you can scoop right away, but I didn't want to scoop. I wanted to be nice to my opponent, to let him also play his cards, not giving him the win after 5 seconds. That would be rude in my opinion, so I was quite polite to him. He's also a cool dude from the Munich locals and a very strong player. So I respected him and gave him the time to play. And my starting hand wasn't too great. I had evenly matched a Pot of Prosperity, Lava Golem, Ash, and no special or normal summons. So I guess it was the Birdman or something else.
I had good removal cards, but not something to go after the removal, so I couldn't win the game anyway, because let's face it, if I remove his entire field and leave my board empty, he will establish another field in the next round. So I need to remove his entire field with 3 or more removal cards, plus I need to have full combo, means Unicorn, the Birth, and maybe one other level 7 monster, and that's not gonna happen with my deck. So yeah, I summoned Lava Golem, as you can see, and that was basically the best I could do. I ashed Merely, and he didn't activate the counter trap. That was my only hope. If he activates the counter trap against Ash, my evenly match would be live, but he didn't do it. So I activated evenly, he activated the trap, and I scooped right away. Game 3 I went first. My starting hand was alright. I opened up with Water Enchantress into right of Armor 0, gets me the token, gets me the Fateful Adventure. Normal summed the Wind Statue, got myself the Draco back, discard for the Griffin, equipped to the token back, and special summoning the Griffin. Set 2 I had a double Floodgate, one of them was Shadow Mirror and the other one was Dimension Barrier. So there was no chance he would fusion summon in this turn. He activated Kalbek's effect by discarding his, not Kalbex but Agidus, or I forgot the name, but you get the point, the other guy who searches another fairy. I activated the Shadow Mirror, so he couldn't fuse in his graveyard or activate the Dark Effect monsters on the field, which means 90% of all his monsters are dead. Basically, he can go into maybe Zeus with Babushka, that's one out if he has 2 level 4 monsters on the field, but I have also the Dimension Barrier, so there is no chance he will get through with it. And we also made a little mistake. As you can see, he activated the Time Redo effect, but he's dark, so he can't activate the effect, and he completely forgot it, but it wouldn't change the game state. I mean, my opponent was basically doomed. He couldn't remove my Shadow Mirror, and I was in full control of the game. He had only one set back row, and the Time Redoer with no materials means he is pretty much useless. And I was just hoping for a good draw, maybe Fenrir or the Unicorn to tribute some and go for a lot of damage and extend my plays. As you see, I attacked for life points and passed turn. He was thinking a long time about his next moves, but the Shadow Mirror is too broken against Tier Elements. If he can't remove him, he basically loses. I mean, every Tier Element monster fusion is dark. Most of the extra deck monsters are dark. I mean, he can't do anything. Only Zeus, the only out, and that's not gonna happen, luckily for me. So my first Tier Element matchup and the first win, that was a nice feeling. I was very confident for the next games.
Match 7 was once again against Tier Element Ishizu plus Madolche, hashtag spicy tech. I showed you how to roll the dice, guys. A 12, double 6, that's how you win dice rolls. And yeah, I wanted to go first, obviously with my deck, not allowing him to establish his broken ass board. And yeah, my starting end wasn't too great. You will see it now when the game starts. We were just fooling around in the beginning of the match. I special summoned the Unicorn to the field, got myself the spell card, activated the spell card. My opponent was reading the card and decided to activate Herald of the Green Light. Yes, you heard it correct, Green Light. Green light, as the name says, negates spell cards, green cards. Orange light negates orange cards, monster effects, and there's also purple light, negates obviously trap cards. So he played a green light in main deck, probably double green light and one orange light. That would be a good ratio for his deck. So I lost my birth and couldn't do that much. I had a weak starting hand, that was my only play. I set one card and passed turn. In his turn he could only activate Perolino, but I negated it with Ash, and that was pretty much it for his turn. A very slow start from both of our sides. We interrupted us quite heavily. In my turn I had not too bad normal sum. I mean, the Wind Barrier statue is very nice against him. Plus I have Book of Moon set, means the statue will stay at least 2 rounds on the field. which is insane. I can continue banishing with Unicorn. His extra deck means I will win in the long run since he loses all his key monsters. And yeah, in his turn he normal summoned the Rhino Heart, dumped the Shireen to the graveyard. Couldn't fuse because of the Wind Barrier statue, obviously. I banished him the Babushka, the only out he had, and he went to the battle. I flipped the Rhino Heart face down, and that was pretty much it for game 1. Game 3 he went first, wanted to special summon one of his Ishizu monsters. I chained the Shifter, the Mega out against his deck, and yeah, there wasn't much he could do in this turn. He will end up on Babushka Pass, the only out for Tier Elements. If they open some Ishizu cards, that's the only monster they can go for. The rest is dead, because they can't use any fusions. So yeah, Babushka Pass is not too bad. I mean, if my starting hand isn't too great, I won't be able to stop Babushka. And in this case, I couldn't stop Babushka. My hand wasn't too great. I had Shifter, okay, that's cool, but Fenrir and the other monsters can't destroy Babushka yet. So I have to wait at least 2 rounds until Babushka loses all materials. I special summoned Fenrir and yeah, basically couldn't do that much, because I'm missing the Book of Moon or the Imperm to negate the Babushka. So past turn, in his turn he activated the Gozen Mage. I don't know if this Floodgate is all too great against me, but it is what it is. He had on the field in past turn. I also past turn since I couldn't do that much. No Imperm, no Book of Moon. So past turn time like always. And in his turn, once again, he couldn't do anything again. So he destroyed his Babushka and yeah, past turn. Very surprising. No draws, nothing helpful for him. He shuffled some of his monsters back, and that was it. In my turn, I could at least attack now. With Fenrir on the field, I can banish his Floodgate. Means I am free to special summon more monsters. So the control of the game was in my favor now, back. And yeah, from this point I knew I will win the game probably, because I had the card advantage and my opponent had only 2 cards in hand. Plus I have the pluses now with the Unicorn, the Fenrir. They will banish 2 cards every round if my opponent activates a monster effect. So there wasn't a chance he will win this game in this match. But still a very cool duel. I was very lucky with my Shifter draw in game 2. In game 1 he lost the dice roll and his hand wasn't too strong, so yeah, a bit lucky for me, unlucky for him, but sometimes you need to be lucky to go deep in tournaments. That's how every card game works, guys. And yeah, cool experience so far. 2 wins against the Ishizu. That's very, very good for my deck. My deck is designed to beat the Tier Element Ishizu, and it's doing its job at the moment quite well, as you can see. I summoned the Red Eyes Flare Dragon. He was low on life points, and like 400 life points, I don't know. And yeah, he is cooked in this game. I mean, there wasn't anything he could do. Match 8 was once again against Tier Element Ishizu. My opponent didn't want to be recorded, so I will give you a quick recap. I lost game 1 due to my brick, and game 2 I also lost because my opponent drew a Polar Rhino to destroy my Shadow Mirror. So unlucky for me. Still a very good result, place 21. If I would have won the last match, I would be at place 4 or 5, so top 4 or top 8. For sure, but with the last loss I have only 5 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. Still a very good result for such a fun deck as Kashtira, right?